Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the call. My name is Dr. Curt and Katie will be joining us in just a little bit, and we'll get this call started. Welcome to the call. Years we've seen that they're actually doing transplants. They're doing fecal material transplants. I believe there's for those of you down in Australia, I believe there's a rock and roll guy down there who actually brings his person with him that supplies him with the bowel movement is that important. It's important for your immune system. I have some slides put together, and but I don't see her yet. Let me check and see if she's sent a message to me, which she has not. So anyhow, let's begin. Inside of all of your organs that have environment on the inside of your body, inside my nose, inside my ears, inside my mouth and my throat, down my esophagus, down into the gut. There's there's an outside environment on the inside of your body. And that's important to realize, because I think a lot of people think that that's actually the inside of your body. It's not really. It's a hollow tube. It's a tube that goes through you, and on the inside of that, what happens is think of it like this. If my fingers are the inside of your gut lining, the cells are tightly packed together like this. They're tightly packed together, and that keeps it's one cell layer thick. And so if that's all there was, then what would end up happening? No, Katie just got here. So what would end up happening is that would allow things to pass in and out freely. So they'd pass into your body without having any kind of protection. So how we were designed, how our body was designed, is on the inside of that one cell layer thick lining, we have a mucus layer, and that mucus layer is made up of healthy bacteria and healthy yeast and things like that. And inside, and what that healthy bacteria and healthy yeast does is it allows the body to absorb certain things from the inside of the gut, or from the inside of the lungs, or whatever, from the inside of the nose, inside of the ear, and it allows it to transfer in, but it doesn't allow everything to transfer in, because can you imagine all the toxins and everything from your food and from your lungs passing freely into your system? So this semi-permeable membrane actually blocks that. The other thing that it does is it allows toxins to be pushed out through that same membrane. What happens is that because of various things that happen in our life, stress will cause the breakdown of this microbiome, that environment inside.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, you cut out for a second, Dr. Curt.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. So what I was going to say was,
sorry, I've got some slides talking about what you're just talking about now. You've cut out again. You cut out, you're back again.
All right. I don't know what's causing that, but it says my internet is unstable. So I suppose we're having internet issues up here. We're having a storm pass through.
Oh, okay. No worries. Should I share my slides now?
Yeah, let's do that. Let me just try and finish up what I was going to say.
Sure.
Yeah, bottom line is that, you know, this semi-permeable membrane inside of your mucous membranes, it protects you. And is they're saying that even for certain types of cancer, that they really got to make sure and keep that gut lining up to par. And stress isn't the only thing that affects it. If you're eating commercially grown chicken, if you're eating commercially grown beef, what ends up happening is there's a lot of antibiotics that's found in that meat, and you can't cook it out. So what ends up happening is that passes into your gut. So you might be the person that doesn't go on antibiotics, you never get sick. But at the same time, if you're eating hamburger that's made with commercially grown beef, what ends up happening is you're getting those antibiotics without even knowing about it. So that's and then a lot of the medications that they have on the market. If you've ever been on antibiotics any time in your life, if you didn't go on probiotics and rebuild the gut lining after that, what ends up happening is that your gut lining is going to have a issue for the rest of your life until you go on probiotics and fix that. So if you've ever been on antibiotics anytime in your life, and you haven't fixed it with probiotics, you're going to have problems. So Katie, I'm going to hand it over to you. If I'm having some problems with my internet, I'm just going to mute out and I'll let you do the discussion. Okay.
Yep, sure.
All right. I'm going to mute out.
Okay, thank you. Just bear with me for a second. Hang on, I'm just bringing up the slides. Okay, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I was having some computer difficulties, which was the reason for myself being late. Anyway, thank you, Curt, for starting the presentation. So I've got some slides here, and we wanted to talk about how you can get healthy bowel movements and also facilitate weight loss at the same time. So a really important topic, especially considering we're still running our March weight loss competition. So those of you who are in the team, congratulations. And we've got just under sort of 2 weeks to go now. So the information in here is really helpful if you are running in our team for March, but it's also helpful for everyone because reaching a healthy weight is really important. We've got a disclaimer here just saying that none of the information is intended to diagnose, treat, prevent, or cure any disease. And consult your physician before taking supplements is a good idea. Just to let you know too, just qualifications of Dr. Curt and myself. So Dr. Curt, who's talking earlier, he is a wellness consultant and a chiropractor. He was America's top chiropractor in 2004. He's also been Who's Who American Young Professionals, Who's Who Young Americans as well. He's been practicing for a long time, and he has been part of Sizzle for well over 10 years, including myself as well. He knows the products inside and out, and he personally has been using all the products with himself and his family. And just to let you know, I have a degree in science, a Bachelor of Applied Science in Health Promotion, also advanced certificate in nutrition and health and anxiety for depression and stress. And I am now a qualified nutrition coach, which I'm now doing actively. And I've also done bodybuilding competitions as well. So Dr. Curt and I have quite a bit of knowledge and personal interest in all of this information. So we're talking about gut problems and what's the problem with most people's bowel. Well, most people aren't having enough bowel movements, and that obviously leads to constipation. So if you're not going to the toilet every day, that can be a problem. And especially if you're eating a normal amount of food too. Obviously, if you're fasting, you're going to slow your bowel movements down. But many people don't go every day. And the problem is that you can first start getting things like hemorrhoids, anal fissures, in addition to constipation and a whole host of other bowel problems. And the stats say really only 5% of Americans are eating the recommended daily fiber intake in America. So, and the same would probably go for most Australians too. So that's not many people. The recommended intake is 25 grams for women and 30 to 38 grams for men. It obviously changes a little bit depending on age and weight. So it would vary a tiny bit, but they're general guidelines there. And this amounts to a population-wide deficiency in fiber, and it's what nutritionists call the fiber gap. So I've recently been doing lots of posts on eating your 5 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit every day to help you reach that 25 grams. And I'll touch on that in a little bit. But people are too busy also avoiding carbs. I think I need to avoid carbs to lose weight because of keto is a high fat diet and stuff like that. People avoid carbs, but you do need those carbohydrates for function, for brain function and organ function. And it's got a lot of nutrients, minerals, vitamins in there. So you don't want to be cutting out your fruit and vegetables. And so if you were doing keto with fruit and vegetables, then you change the type of fruit and vegetables. You go to really low sugar ones. And there are options for that as well. The Bristol stool chart, I love this stool chart. This is a real indicator. So, your goal, if you're looking for optimum health and you want to really feel as good as you possibly can, then this is a fantastic guide because ultimately you want your bowel movements to be like type 3 or type 4 every single day. If you're a type 1 or you're type 7 or anywhere in between other than 3 or 4, then you're not eating enough fiber or you're not eating the right combination of macronutrients. So you definitely want to get on top of this. This is critical, absolutely critical. I cannot emphasize how important it is to have healthy bowel movements. And it can take a while to kind of finesse it and figure out, how much you need to be eating of what before you get to having really good normal bowel movements. One way they detect constipation is through an X-ray. This is not an X-ray of myself. This is just one I've pulled off the internet. But I will confess that about probably 10, might have been 15 years ago, I did suffer from really bad constipation. I had so much back pain and I had pelvic pain because I had a sacroiliac joint inflammation. So that's the SI joint. That's actually the joint between the lower spine and the hip there. That actually joins the hip to the spine. For me, that was chronically inflamed. And so you can imagine when that's inflamed, it hurts sitting, moving, everything hurts. And so going to the toilet is really painful because it's pushing against that joint, builds up pressure. And I became constipated during that time. I was also taking a lot of painkillers too. So if you're taking codeine or painkillers or medication that is noted to cause constipation, that can happen. And it wasn't until I went and saw a gastroenterologist and they did take a picture of my bowel and find, he said, that you're constipated, which you can see on an X-ray, because you can see that your large intestine, so your colon, which sort of goes around the outside, as opposed to the small intestine that's filled with fecal matter, which you can see in this particular person's picture. So we definitely don't want to have constipation. It's a precursor for lots of types of diseases, and some of them included, got Crohn's, diverticulitis, other bowel conditions, puts you at much higher risk for bowel cancer, Parkinson's, celiac disease, ulcerative colitis, irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease. So these are all the types of issues that people can have with their gut. And so the first place to start is, by having healthy bowel movements. And we're going to talk on the natural things that you can do before I touch on the supplements that you can take that Sizzle offer to support your body in that way. So other problems that happen with gut is, you can have immune disorders. You can start to have hormonal imbalances if your gut's not working properly. Constipation, people will often get headaches, gut aches. They'll feel really sluggish and slow, just feeling literally really slow. Fungal infections, candida can build up, bacterial infection and parasites. It's an absolute breeding ground for those type of bugs. You can get leaky gut, which Dr. Curt was talking about in detail before I started this presentation. He was talking about the intestinal lining and leaky gut and how that can be a problem. You can start to develop skin conditions, can be a result of your gut. And just generally, you're not emptying your toxic waste. I mean, the waste that comes out of your body is meant to be removed. And if it's building up or staying in there for a long time, it's really starting to sort of poison your body in a way. Dr. Curt talked about this just earlier, about the junctions in the gut lining. So you can get leaky gut, loose junctions. That's where the cells become, slightly separated and allows for particles to pass through into the bloodstream. And that can kick off immune reactions. So you start having immune problems because you've got these little particles floating around in your blood, bacteria and allergens and toxins, and your body starts having an immune response to that. So you want to look after your gut. You can't stress how important it is. And of course, they call your gut the second brain. So if you're not feeling good in your tummy, then you're not going to be feeling good in your head. And if you feel good in your tummy and everything's working really well down there, it's going to help with your mood big time. So we really want to keep that in mind as well. So what are some of the things that you can do to help with a healthy gut? Obviously eating the fiber-rich foods, so whole unprocessed foods. So anything that comes from a plant that's not processed, that is really important because it has a higher content of fiber. Obviously fruit and vegetables, which I've covered in detail, and I keep saying it. Hopefully maybe by the 5th time I've said it, or maybe by the 10th time I've said it, it'll really start to sink in for you and go, yeah, I need to make a much more conscious effort to eating more fruit and vegetables, and your commitment level goes from a 5 out of 10 to a 9 or 10 out of 10 to doing that. And then, that's really going to help you have much better results. So you can do a fiber count, but I can already tell you that if you're not eating 5 servings of vegetables and 2 servings of fruit every day, in addition to other fibrous foods, you're not going to be hitting that fiber intake that's recommended for optimum health. So whole grains are better. I know Curt talks about, not eating too many grains. That's fine. You could have stuff like, if you're not into whole grains like, buckwheat or brown rice, quinoa, things like that. Then you could have alternatives would be, a sweet potato and other types of vegetables that have, some carbohydrates, but also high in fiber. Other things is like legumes, nuts and seeds. Of course, you need plenty of water to have healthy bowel movements. And we're going to talk about a Sizzle product that does help you get your water intake. And I'll tell you why. So that's a really good tip there. You want to avoid foods that are irritating and acidic. Some people have problems with gluten and dairy. And actually, you wouldn't know until you do probably an elimination test. So if you remove it from your diet completely, bring it back, then remove it, bring it back, and actually record the results, then you can tell if it's irritating you and how you're feeling. But there are other tests that you can do. You can have a genetic test to see if you're more likely to be suffering from gluten or dairy intolerance. And there's other tests as well. So if you're interested in those, reach out to Dr. Curt or myself, who can let you know. You can get tested for that. Other foods that can cause constipation is so basically too much of the dairy products and too much meat. Meat and dairy has 0 grams of fiber. So when you're consuming meat and dairy products, you need the fiber to push them through your bowel, and so they exit the body. If you don't have enough fiber, it's just going to get stuck. It's going to slow down your transit time in your bowel. It's just not going to come out the other end in the time that it should. So other things that can help with leaky gut, and I'm not going to talk about that today, but we've got fulvic acid. So we've got a great product, the Body Shield has the fulvic acid in it. However, we've got a bowel cleanse product called Super Detox. So we want to talk about that today. Fantastic product, really inexpensive, great one to have a few bottles on hand in your cupboard, and really useful product that helps to remove the mucoid plaque that lines the gastrointestinal tract, mostly the small intestine actually. Now, conventional medicine will say that it's a pseudo made-up name, mucoid plaque, but what they really call it is mucus. So they'll acknowledge that there's a mucus layer in there that can build up, and they just, remove the word plaque. It's the same thing. And there are other natural supplements you can take to fight inflammation. Taking a pre and probiotic is also really important. We're going to talk about which product Sizzle has for that. We have a hydrogen and magnesium product that can support healthy bowel movements. We've got a great testimonial for that today that I want to share with you before we finish up. So the products that support healthy bowel movements, we've got the Balance D. It's got the chicory root, and it's got all the different types of probiotic in there. It's also got fiber as well. And it's a starch-resistant fiber, so it's not straight multidextrin. It's specially designed, and it actually works really well because it's microfibers that work by creating polymers. It's a little bit too much science, but essentially it helps to remove excess waste from the lower intestine. Sizzle use a patented version called Fibersol. We've also got some vitamin D in this product, which is really important for health. A lot of people have vitamin D deficiency, so worth going to ask your doctor to check your vitamin D levels next time you're there. And of course, if you are checking your vitamin D levels, make sure you're not taking any supplements or any supplement that has vitamin D when you do that test. Otherwise, it's an invalid test because you're just testing how much of that vitamin's in your blood. So you need to stop for 48 to 72 hours beforehand. So they've found that probiotics can help reduce the number of calories you absorb from food, and they can also affect the hormones and proteins related to appetite and fat storage. Probiotics can also potentially reduce inflammation, which can drive obesity as well. So they've done lots of studies on the benefits of probiotics, and they've done it with different strains. They found that when people were consuming the probiotic there were 135 people lost a significant amount of belly fat, and it was actually more effective in women than men, which was an interesting finding. So having your probiotics is really important. And Sizzle's product is really fantastic. You can snap open these capsules and you can add them to food. You don't have to swallow them all. And it's got a nice little, it's sort of a sweet taste. So you could add them to your, yogurt. You could add them to your cereal. You could add them to any food. You could add them to your dinner. You wouldn't even taste it in there. You could just open the capsule if you don't like swallowing capsules. So that is a great product to be taking. Now, another great product we've got is the Sizzle H2 stick. And the H2 stick is our hydrogen stick. So it creates hydrogen-infused oxygenated water. We've got an awesome testimonial for this. So it puts diatomic hydrogen particles into the water, as well as extra oxygen. And it creates a reaction when the contents of the stick are added to water. And you do need to drink it within a certain period of time to get the maximum benefit. But another key ingredient in this product, which really works well for healthy bowel movements, is magnesium. So the magnesium will really help to get the bowel movements going. So if you're feeling a bit sluggish and you have a H2 stick, that will help to speed things along. And if you really, really want to speed things along, if you go a double dose, and even if you did a triple, be mindful though, because it can cause stomach pain if you have too much. The magnesium that's in this product, it will really flush everything out. I remember for me, I'm quite a small person, and I remember I started having 2 a day, and by the 3rd day, it just basically everything exited out of my bowel because I hit the sort of maximum magnesium amount for myself, and it was really a flush, I guess, in a way. Now that's not, you don't really want to be having too much magnesium because you can upset, I guess, the good bacteria in your gut. But if you're backed up and you're a bit stuck, magnesium can really support that. And you want to, obviously follow the amount on the packet. As I said, you can go a little bit more, but just be mindful of it. It has other great benefits as well. So it helps with weight management. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about that. It helps with neurological function. It helps with the immune system. It helps with a healthy heart, helps feeling good, helps with organ function. I mean, the benefits are endless. They just seem to be finding more and more benefits, especially with the particular ingredient, which is the hydrogen, which gets infused into the water. And it is great tasting. It's also got vitamin C in there as well. So this is a great product, and we've got an awesome testimonial for that from Suzanne. So let me just stop the share quickly, and I'm going to share this testimonial here for you. I'll just do a new share.
Hi, Joan. Thanks for agreeing to give up your time to give us this testimonial. So share a little bit about what's happened for you and the results you've got.
Well, the first time when I went home and I tried it, and it was just...
Tried what? You tried the H2O stick?
The H2O.
Yes.
And it was a real relief. I have had a puffer for 2 years, but this is so much better, and I feel a lot freer.
Yes. So what was happening with you?
I was getting... I don't have the same big cough-ups and everything else that I had with the puffer. And now I feel quite, I have a longer breath, and I can do more things. And I'm very, very happy with it.
So you're not having as many coughing fits, which you shared with me was quite embarrassing.
It is
when you were out and things. Yes. Isn't that wonderful?
Yes,
and
it is.
And so how many of the sticks are you taking? How many of the packets of the H2O are you taking?
I'm taking one a day.
One a day?
Yes.
In the morning?
In the morning.
Yep,
When
great.
I get out of bed,
Yeah,
that's what I do.
that.
I take that with my age pill.
And do you feel it's like breaking up the stuff in your
Oh,
lungs?
definitely.
Yeah.
Because when I do have a cough, I know what's happening.
Yes.
Yes, I think
and
it's great.
Are you on any other Sizzle products?
Yes, I am. I'm on Sizzle, the age pill, and I've had that for about 4 years. And it's really quite kind to me, I think.
What do you mean by that?
Because I don't have as many wrinkles as people my age.
No, Joan looks fantastic. You can't see her, but she looks fantastic.
And I cannot be without it now.
No,
at all.
no.
And I use the what are those two I get for my skin?
Skincare, the rapid repair and the biomist.
Yes, I use that, and I use
And the cleanser. You use the cleanser like me.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yes, and now I'll be doing the other as well.
The H2O sticks.
Yes, H2O.
Yeah. And I forgot to mention earlier, so I'm going back a bit. So you've been a smoker for many, many, many years. Is that correct?
Up until about 3.5 years ago.
Yeah. So you were smoking for about like 50 years or something?
Oh, easy. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, let me think. I was 17 when my elder sister got me onto it.
Yeah.
And I never stopped then until...
a couple of years ago. Yeah.
I didn't smoke 16 or 17 a day, but I had, I'd say 8 to 9.
Yes. Yeah. So isn't that great for all the people that have had long-term smoking out there?
Yeah.
And would you say that that's helped the condition on your lungs?
Yes.
So now something that can help them on the other side.
I did really think I must have lung cancer when I went to my doctor.
Yeah.
Before I got the puffer. And I said to her, she said, I've got the results. And I said, I bet I've got lung cancer. She said, oh, don't be very ridiculous. She said, there's a bit of a dribble on the bottom of your lungs, and that's all there is. She said, here's this. So now I've got my
H2O stick. Yeah, a healthy way of helping it and breaking
it.
A
very healthy way.
Yeah,
yes.
Great.
Yes.
Thanks, Joan. Thanks for your time.
So that is a fantastic testimonial for the H2 stick. Sorry, I thought it was Suzanne. It's actually Joan. So I just fixed that. So that was a great testimony. So thank you, Roz, for sharing that testimonial. And thank you, Joan, for that testimonial. So that's H2 stick. And the reason obviously it helped with her lungs is because it's infused with hydrogen and oxygen, and also getting that extra fluid in there, increasing our hydration levels, the magnesium and all the other benefits, you know, has really had the extra benefit of helping her tremendously with her lungs. So the Sizzle Super Detox is the last product I wanted to talk about today for just a couple more minutes, and then we'll finish up. So this is a really important product. So if you are struggling with bowel movements and then they're not moving, you can do a round of the Super Detox, which is a 4-day cleanse. It does help to remove excess waste matter and the mucoid plaque. You can do it more frequently. I mean, people are doing it once every, you know, couple months, but I know that Dr. Curt at one point was trialing this product. I think he was taking 1 a day, Curt. I'm not sure if you're still there, if you wanted to chime in about that. But yeah, it has, you know, natural ingredients in there, herbs that really support eliminating body toxins. And, you know, it's really a great product. So there's the instructions there. They're really tiny on the bottle, so you can get the fact sheet from the back office or the Sizzle app. Otherwise, you can take a photo of it with your phone and then enlarge it. But basically, you take 1 in the evening on the first day, and the second day 2 in the evening, and then on the third day 1 in the morning, 2 in the evening, and the fourth day 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening. There's extra tablets in there, so you can go longer, and you can increase the number of tablets depending on how you're responding. So this is a product that is self-regulated. So that's up to you to decide if you need to increase or decrease. But ideally, you want to be going 3 to 4 bowel movements in a day for this product to work really well. If you take this product and you don't go at all, then you've probably, and I'm not a doctor, but you should check with your doctor, got a constipation issue that needs addressing. So yeah. Okay, so I've got a great testimonial here from Rachel Lee, how she has suffered from digestive issues and bloating and cramping. She says she loves this product. She did the 4-day cleanse, and after that, she felt more mental clarity. Her mood was better, energy, no more bloating, and her skin was glowing. So she said it's like a total body reset. So that was the final product that I wanted to share with you today. And if you're doing the weight loss challenge, make sure you consider purchasing a bottle of this and using it for the last few days to really help accelerate your weight loss and improve the health of your bowel. So that is it from me for today.
Well, Katie, thanks for sharing those important slides. And, you know, it really is that important, like I was saying in the beginning. I mean, it's gotten so important that they're actually doing fecal transplants with people. They're taking healthy poop from one person and putting it into another person. That's how important this topic is. So
yeah, we've just lost you again, Dr. Curt. Yeah. So yeah, he's right how important it is. And just to finish off, you know, having 2 servings of fruit and 5 servings of vegetables every day. That's 75 grams of vegetables is 1 serving, and 2 medium pieces of fruit. That will help get your fiber intake up. And to be honest, I do that every day, and it is a challenge. It is not easy. It is not easy to do that every single day. It requires discipline, and it requires effort, and it requires definitely commitment. So hopefully you're inspired today, and I guess we'll leave it there. We've had some challenges with Dr. Curt's internet connection, cutting in and out. And yeah, so we'll leave it there. Hope you have a great weekend.